my friend. Here it is, Thursday morning. Welcome to the Pastor's Podcast. I hope that you are staying warm wherever you are. I know there's a cold front. Trust me, I know it is here. And I'm in Oklahoma City right now. Home, went out, took a walk this morning. Wind chill 17 below zero. Needless to say, for me, as I am one who cannot stand cold weather, and here we are. It's here. But this is the day that the Lord hath made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. We'll find that way to rejoice. But it's a good day. I got a roof over my head. At least we got heater. And that's always a good thing. I'm glad that you're along with me today, wherever you are. And I hope that you've had a wonderful Wednesday night service. We had a great service last night. Good crowd last night. And the altars were filled once again. Always good to be in church with God's people, especially with Maranatha Baptist Church, the greatest church in all the world. And I love our people. And what a phenomenal people. I know that some think that I'm advertising for my church. I absolutely am advertising for my church because it's the greatest church in all the world. And I feel sorry for anybody that doesn't come to ours. And by the way, everybody ought to feel that way about their church. I'm not just saying that. I mean that. Everybody, if you don't feel that way about your church, you better check your heart out and figure it out. And what a great thing God's doing here, and always good to be a part of it. Well, today I want to talk about don't give your answer. In Proverbs chapter 18, verse 13, the scripture says, he that answereth a matter before he heareth it, it is folly and shame unto him. Now, one of the keys to not having to clean up a mess that you got yourself into is not to be quick to give an answer. A lawyer will tell you to listen carefully to the questions asked before you deliberately give an answer, to be as brief as possible with your answer. That's what lawyers will tell you to do. Now, what is often used against you are the words that you answered with. And that could have been avoided had you waited and been very deliberate to answer questions. Now, the verse I just read to you says that it's folly and shame for a person to answer a matter or situation before they hear it. When God says he that answereth the matter before he heareth it, it is folly and shame unto him. In other words, when God says shame unto him, he's saying shame on you. That's what he's saying. That's God's answer. He says shame on you. Now it's a shame. It's folly, which means a lack of good sense. In other words, God's saying you have no common sense. You have no sense when you answer a matter. It's a foolish action to give an answer before you hear the matter. The matter could be a simple question that one asked, or it could be a matter that you hear about another, or could be a matter about your church, or it could be a matter that you're dealing with in your family. It doesn't matter what the matter is. You're acting foolish if you answer a matter before you hear it. Now, God's simply saying, he says, get some common sense. He says, shame on you for not using some common sense to hear a whole matter. That's what God's saying. So to answer a matter before hearing it, it's going to do four things to you. First, to answer a matter without hearing the whole matter is foolish. It's giving an answer without someone being able to finish their whole story that they were telling you about the situation. It's shutting down the rest of the information because you've already made up in your mind what you're going to think. Now, many people make foolish decisions as soon as they hear what they do not like, instead of hearing the whole story that likely could save them from making a foolish decision. Now, don't allow yourself to make a decision in the middle of a matter. Okay, somebody's telling you something and you hear something. Boom, I made up my mind. You didn't hear the rest of the sentence. You didn't hear the rest of the story being presented to you. So wait until you hear the whole explanation before you make a decision. Second, to answer a matter without hearing the whole story is foolish. To hear one side of the story and make up your mind without hearing the other side of the story, hey, shame on you. That's what God's saying. Many have made a decision based on what seemed to be a legitimate decision. But it wasn't the whole story. If you hear one side, yeah, you can say, oh, I get it, but you better hear the other side. One side of the story can sound absolutely legitimate. Boy, I can understand where they come from. But the other side might shine a different light on that thing that allow you to see, whoa, I think that I need to hold off on this decision, or my decision has changed a little bit. If you don't want to deal with the shame of making a wrong decision about a matter, then wait until you hear both sides of the story. Third, to answer a matter with your mind already made up is foolish. If you've already made up your mind before listening to both sides of the story, or before hearing any side of the story, you've not listened to the matter. And you're not giving the person who's telling you the whole matter a fair shake. To hear a matter means to leave the decision until the end and not make a decision before you hear it. It's nearly impossible for your mind to be changed once you already made up a decision. So don't allow yourself to make a decision until you hear the whole matter. Many a time we make those decisions. We already made up our decision. Now, God says, no, wait till the end. Don't even make a decision until you get to the end. Fourth, to answer a matter before you put the decision on trial is foolish. The purpose of going slow in making decisions is to put the matter on the witness stand and to try to hear both sides of the story before placing a verdict. It's almost like what God's saying is put yourself in the jury box. You be the jury. You let both sides of the story be in the witness box. Let it tell their story. Then you make a verdict. Now, if you want to keep yourself from looking like a fool, that's how you do it. So shame on you if you don't put yourself in the jury box and listen to the prosecutor and the defendant give their case. Don't make your decision. So the prosecutor has given their side of the story. Okay, don't make your decision. You're not supposed to make a decision. You may be leaning one way, but you heard it. Now I've got to hear the other side. I got to hear the defendant's side. Now I can make a decision on what needs to be done. That's what God's saying. He says, when it comes to decisions, let the pro side of the decision tell you what needs to be done, and then listen to the con side that says don't do it. Then, as that person who sits in the jury, then you look at both sides and you come up with your verdict. And God says, He says you're using common sense. You're not acting like a fool. He says no one's going to say shame on you because you listen to both sides. My friend, many a person has found themselves in bad situations trying to clean up a mess because they made a decision. They came to a conclusion without hearing both sides. Wait before you make a decision. Listen to both sides, and you'll never regret. You will never regret. Listen to the whole side before you make a verdict. Well, my friend, I hope this is a help to you today. Now, let's remember today, be good to everyone and stay warm because everybody's having a tough time. Have a great day, my friend.